This week's Playwright Tip, performing. I think all playwrights should be a performer at some point because they need to know what actors go through. Because a playwright who doesn't know what actors go through, that's kind of like having a panel of men decide what women's healthcare should be. Wait. I seriously believe that playwrights should be actors at some point in their life. I think playwrights need to have an understanding of what an actor has to do in regards to memorization, performance, understanding intention without knowing the background, and being in the moment. Playwrights really need to understand that. I mean, a lot of great playwrights and a lot of award-winning playwrights were actors first. Tracy Letts is an actor first and a playwright second. He has a Tony Award for playwriting. I believe he has a Pulitzer too. Not totally sure on that. Christopher Durang was an actor first. Aaron Sorkin actually was an actor first. I think it hurts a person to be focused on one area of theater and not be well-rounded. A lot of people say that a playwright should know what an actor goes through, what a director does, a dramaturg, technician, all the way down to technicians. And I honestly believe that, because if you have a sense of what the abilities and limitations are of each position within the theater, you have a stronger sense of what is actually capable of each position and what can be accomplished on stage. And it might limit you as a playwright to say, okay, I can't do this because an actor probably can't do this. But you know what? As I've learned, the more limitations you have, the more you figure out creative ways to work around them, and the more creative you get. That's just fact.
Heading up into tech for my solo show. Should be fun.
So this week, my play opened, my one-man show, Musical Theater for Asian Males Only edition, and it was nerve-wracking, just getting it all in my head and getting it all right. I mean, I spent time on the tech part, and usually that's what I do in shows. I figure out the tech part, and I've had the tech part 100%, everything else is easy. But memorizing the show, memorizing the flow, and going from cue to cue based on line to line, it was difficult for me.
The cue line on, and cue line on that one, because I know it's...
Play manager in the field whose role with few and far between.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I didn't hear that line, so...
I know.
Going into tech, I mean, I had a general outline of what the sections were. The show is divided into 10 sections, and I memorized each section individually. The thing is that the technicians were waiting for specific cue lines, and the thing is that I memorized the paragraphs generally. I didn't memorize it word for word, because I guess I was thinking, I'm the playwright, I can say whatever the hell I want. As long as I'm getting the idea across, that's all that matters. A one-man show isn't easy, you know? It's just you, and you're the only one you can rely on if you screw up. You know, you have to be 1,000% on your words. There's no one else there that can save you. I mean, there are not a lot of cues in the show, so I can't rely on the cue. And even if I have to rely on the cue, if I'm not saying the right line, that cue is not going to happen. They have to figure it out. They have to scrounge around to figure out where I am in the script. And I did that a lot. You know, I did a lot of not on the book stuff. And it frustrated the technicians. And I know if it was an actor in a show that I wrote that I wasn't performing, I would be very upset with them. I would be drilling the lines like hell. But the thing is that it was just me in every aspect. You know, I didn't have a director. I handled myself. I thought I had it. I would say it to myself in the shower, in the car, whatever, but I would always kind of steer a little bit away from the literal text. And it was a problem. I can't really fault an actor anymore for missing cues or screwing up lines because, you know what, I've done it. If they've had weeks of rehearsal and I've been in the room while they've memorized it, yes. But I didn't give myself weeks of rehearsal. I didn't separate myself from everything else. I did it while I was doing other things, which was probably a mistake. But it is what it is.
Okay, it's about a half hour to curtain. Opening night, I don't know who's showing up. I don't know how many people are showing up, but, you know, whoever shows up is an audience. An audience is an audience is an audience. It's kind of like the Friends show where I wasn't sure people would show up. And, you know, I could have done a lot for marketing for this thing, but, you know what? I had to focus on memorizing this thing, and I'm not sure I completely am. Stress, pressure to have to work on my diction. Crap.
Opening night is scary. Especially when it's just you. I mean, when it's just you, when it's just your solo show, there's a lot riding on it. You know, I had some audience from who were coming in for other shows who bought a block of shows and saw mine with it, and that was fun. That was good. I had a couple of friends and my family show up, which was awesome. But the audiences could have been better. I could have worked harder in marketing. But when opening night comes, you just have to roll with it.
See, as a writer, I would get this. I mean, my play would go up. People would say, oh, it's great. But then, when some of them meet me, some of them would talk to me and ask, dear, why aren't you writing for your people? There's the job interviews where they assume I can't speak English. Being on the job, and they assume I can't speak English. There is the incident where guests asked me to leave the building because I look like the Virginia Tech shooter, something that had happened 2 days previous. I'll bet you money that didn't happen to anyone who looked like Timothy McVeigh. If you have a belief that keeps you from interacting from the person next to you, no matter their race, their culture, religion, or whatnot, I think there's room for evolution. Maybe that's just me. Or, let me put it this way. Take a chance. And I say that to all people.
I mean, I have my 2 shows. They go well. I get all the laughs I want, which was awesome. Every line I wanted to be funny was funny, and every dramatic part I wanted to hit. I mean, there were people there who I talked to after the show that I didn't know, and they told me about, stuff that really hit them about the show and other stuff that it was like, and I've been suggested to look into other work similar to it, or maybe submit this work to other places. I don't know what I'm going to do with this piece. I know that the show involves a lot of personal stories of mine. No one else really can perform it except me, because half of it really is my own personal stories as an Asian American working in musical theater and basically living in the world. I might put clips of it online. I don't know. I'm getting a video of it, which is awesome. And, yeah. I don't know what's going to happen next. That is really the theme of right now. I don't know what's going to happen next. Beyond the show, I am part of Sketchfest. My sketch comedy group Stuff is in Sketchfest in New York City. We perform on October 11th, which is awesome. And we'll see what comes of that. I don't know if I'm performing in it yet. I don't think any of my sketches are making it in. Why am I plugging it if I'm not involved? I gotta think about this one. And I start rehearsals for The King and I next week. I'm in The King and I. Well, coming off of my one-man show into King and I, that's just irony. So that, lots of crazy life, always. See you next week, interwebs.